Welcome back to another episode of Talk Dead to Me. I am your host, Johnny Odell. I'm the social media manager for The Walking Dead, and this is the final episode of the year. In this year from hell, I hope I managed to give you guys some brief escapes each Sunday with my interviews. Obviously, 2020 saw a ton of change, nothing really in the real world, but podcast-wise, Alexandra and Woody were pulled from the podcast to do other things, so I began steering the ship into a new direction that's solely focused on the interviews. It's the thing that people interacted with the most, and as much as we all miss Alexandra and Woody, I think it was the right direction to go given the circumstances. Now, this year, I was so blessed to have so many amazing guests. We had Michael Kudlitz, Jenna Elfman, Nico Tortorella, Coleman Domingo, Rosemary Rodriguez, Alexa Mansour, and even Shiva the Tiger herself. I know, it was hard to get her, but we did it. Now, next year we are going to continue the format, and I'm going to try to bring you guys a new guest from the Walking Dead universe each week. Obviously, some things change last minute, and without an intern or assistant, it can be difficult to deliver every single week, but I think we did the best job we could this year, and I appreciate you guys for sticking around for it. Now, on to our guest. This week, I had the pleasure of speaking with Alexa Nisenson. You know her as Charlie from Fear the Walking Dead. Also, that hilarious little girl from Fist Fight who belted Big Sean's I Don't Fuck With You. Amazing little Miss Sunshine moment for her, and she's now in Fear the Walking Dead. Somehow, she's only 14 years old, and she has accomplished a hell of a lot more than I did at that point. I'm going to speak to her about a ton of things, and I can't wait for you to hear it. So without further ado, Alexa Nisenson.
I was born in South Florida, yes. I was born in Boca Raton, and then I lived there till I was 6. And then we moved to Atlanta, Georgia for a couple years. And then, about 4 or 5 years ago now, we moved to LA.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So I'm guessing you were probably one of those kids that was performing early.
Yes, I was. I was a competitive dancer for a while before I was an actor. But I was always, like, even when I was little, I'd always, like, make anything a stage and put on shows for anyone who would watch, but especially my family. My mom put me in dance classes when I was really little, and I was doing that for a while until I was about 8. And then a couple kids in the dance studio were doing like commercials and stuff. And I came home and I said to my mom, I was like, Mom, I really want to do that. I think I want to do some acting. And she was like, oh, I don't know. Like, let's see. And I was so persistent, and I asked her every day, can I take an acting class? Can we meet with an agent? And then finally, we met with an agent in Atlanta, and I still have her on my team. I love her so much. And yeah, she brought me on, and it just kind of went from there.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you have any siblings?
I don't. I'm an only child, just me
only
and my
child.
dad.
Oh man, I have a much older brother and sister, but I was only raised by my parents and just lived with them, so I can absolutely relate to that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So wait, I read somewhere that, is it true that you were affiliated at all with the Dance Moms Academy?
When I moved to LA, I danced at Abby Lee's studio for a little bit. I'd go to like a hip hop class there once a week for a couple months when I first moved here. Yes.
That's amazing. All right. So you're performing, you're loving it. Are your parents at all like pushing you to go into acting? I mean, I know you said you wanted to be in a commercial and everything, but were they like hesitant at all? Or were they like all for it?
My mom was definitely, and my dad, I think they were both a little bit hesitant at first because they were like, I don't know, you're young. Like, I was really just loving dance at the time, and I had absolutely never, mentioned acting a whole lot before that. But I really felt like it was something that I would love and would want to do. And my mom for the longest time was like, I don't know, like, let's just see. And I think she thought I was just going to mention it once and then like never mention it again.
Yeah.
And just kept asking her to, do acting classes. Can I take a class? Can we meet with someone? And I think finally you realize that this was something I was pretty serious about. And after she met with, my agent, and I did my first commercial, it was for Icy Hot. And it was like, I was on a swing and you could just see the back of my head, but I was just like so excited when it came on TV. I thought it was like the most amazing thing. And it really did like feel amazing. I loved it so much. And I think after she saw me in that environment for the first time. She realized that this was something that I was really passionate about and I felt good and comfortable doing. And I'm so grateful for my whole family because they're all so beyond supportive. But no, they were definitely hesitant at first, but nobody has ever pushed me into doing this at all. It was the opposite. I had to beg my mom for the longest time.
That's good. I think a lot of people have preconceived notions about child actors and,
Definitely.
parents living vicariously through them. Even like with the
Yeah.
dance moms thing, you can, it's easy to kind of pinpoint exactly what's happening there. So it's good to hear that this is something that you were actually passionate about and that you were
Oh yeah.
pushing. What is the sort of child actor scene like? Like everyone kind of probably has an idea in their head that's probably warped from whatever reality show, but
Yeah.
what's it actually like? Like how competitive is it? What's it like to be in the thick of it?
I think even with my mom, she was like, you hear stories about like child actors, and I don't know, I just want you to stay, super grounded and humble. And I'm so grateful because my parents definitely pushed me to stay extremely grounded and humble. So I'm so appreciative of that. But I think it's interesting because I've been doing this since I was, 8, and I'm 14 now. So
Yeah.
not my whole life, but a good amount of years now. And I've definitely found my group of people and a lot of friends because I think it's a little bit challenging to be friends with someone who is so not in the industry at all because I have had those friends,
Hmm.
but sometimes they don't understand when you say oh, I can't hang out because I'm doing this, or I spend 7 months out of the year in Texas filming Fear, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's challenging to explain those things. But like you said, um, I am not a super competitive person. I believe that if a part is right for you, then it's right for you. Everybody, there's room for all of us, and I think it's super important to lift each other up because it can be a hard industry, and there's no point in making it even harder by isolating yourself from other people that you can relate to.
Hmm.
So I definitely have all my friends pretty much are in the industry, and I think it's nice because they can relate and you can talk to them about challenges with auditioning or work or whatever it is.
Right.
But I think it's all about, your mindset. If you want to be, super competitive and close yourself off to friendships, or, you want to be open and lift each other up. And I think that's really important for me.
Gotcha. And you're homeschooled, right?
I am homeschooled, yes.
Did you start out at regular school early on?
I did. I did go to regular school for the longest time. And then once I started Fear, I realized that it was way too hard to, I were in Austin for 7 months out of the year.
Sure.
So, even just for attendance, I could pretty much never be there. And my school was just kind of sending me a lot of the work. So we were like, you know what, I think it's best to just homeschool. So I've been doing that for a couple of years now, and it's been great.
Wow. So only child, homeschooled, you have an experience unlike most kids your age.
Yeah.
That's got to be such a fascinating experience. And then also kind of having to maintain, a social media presence. Like when I was 14, we had MySpace
Yeah.
and that was fun. God, I sound so old. You're going to feel
No,
old someday
not at
too. Like
all.
millennials, we were the belle of the ball for the longest time. And then Gen Z came around. And eventually, I think the next one's called Gen Alpha or something like
Oh, I
that. I don't
didn't
know.
know that, I'm sure.
Anyway, given all that, do you find that difficult? Or, I mean, I know you said you have like a really good support system and good friends. So I guess that kind of lifts you up, right?
Yeah, I think definitely at times it can be challenging because, I don't have an extremely, I mean, I guess this is a weird word, but normal-ish life.
Hmm.
I'm not in regular school and doing that kind of thing, and, hanging out and doing things with my friends every night and that kind of stuff. And that's great. I mean, that really is great. But for me, I am definitely super, motivated and super determined and just on my journey, and I'm extremely focused with my work. But I also think it's important to you know have your priorities and find time with your family and your friends, and when I can. And even in Austin, I'm always FaceTiming and texting my friends. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's modern technology is amazing. I'm so
Yeah.
lucky that I can always be FaceTiming my
Right.
family, my grandparents. So I think it's about finding the right balance between your work and this whole kind of separate life pretty much, that isn't a common life for most
Mhm.
teenagers, but also finding a way to incorporate those kind of everyday teenage things into your life.
So in Fist Fight, you had your kind of Little Miss Sunshine moment.
Yes.
Was that must have been the first time that people afterwards like really started recognizing you? Was that kind of your first like big break?
Yes, it was. I mean, before that, I had done one episode of an NBC show called Constantine,
Hmm.
but that was definitely my first, big project, and it was amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better kind of first big experience because, I mean, that whole experience was just so memorable and amazing, and every cast member was truly one of the most, the most amazing group of people I've ever met.
Yeah.
Director Richie Keene, he was amazing. Like it was just the most like perfect experience ever. I loved it.
Yeah. And obviously you're a professional and everything, but learning Big Sean's song,
Oh yeah.
which by the way, I'm a huge fan of. That was like my like Avengers Endgame moment where everyone's coming out of the portal, where I was like,
Yeah.
when you with the Big Sean thing and like I hear the first beats of the song coming on, I was like, oh my God, are they doing this? And then I'm like sitting in my seat in the theater. I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna do this. This is
Yes.
amazing. This is such a vulgar song. So what was the process of like learning those lyrics? Where they're like, hey, so we're gonna have you sing this song that's very like adult. Like, how did that whole process play out?
So in the audition, I actually did a different song, and then once I got the part, I found out that it was gonna be this song, and I just spent so much time in my house, like with my headphones on, learning it. And it would be so funny because like someone would like come to the door or something, and I'd just be in the background like practicing the song, and people would probably think my parents were like insane for just having me walk around the house like singing
I
these.
don't give a fuck. Yeah.
I know, and my mom's like, no, it's so hard to explain because some
It's
people,
acting.
it's acting, but
Yeah.
I think some people were probably like, what is happening in that house? But yeah, I would just walk around, and I love music. I listen to music all the time, and I will say I can memorize lyrics to a song pretty quickly.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so I would just listen to it on repeat over and over again, and I still know the whole song
I
by
mean,
heart to this day.
it's an incredible song. Wait, what song did you audition with?
I don't remember. I know it was a Kanye West song. I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
it
Oh
was
my
like, I mean,
gosh.
I was 8. I don't know if
Yeah.
I was 9. Maybe I was 9 then when I did it.
Oh my
But
God.
yes,
That's
I
so
remember
wild.
it was, and I had the best time. And I do get questions a lot. It's like, oh, how did your parents feel about that? But
Oh
they
yeah.
thought it was hilarious. Everybody in my family thought it was hilarious and were so supportive. I mean, obviously they know that it's acting. It was for a job. I wasn't walking around the house saying those things,
Right.
just normally.
You really
So
did give a fuck. Yeah.
it's true, but no, I think everyone loved it and got a kick out of it. And it was so much fun.
Oh my gosh. I hope you get to meet Big Sean one day if you haven't
I did
already.
get to meet Big
You
Sean.
did? Oh my God. Please tell me that everything.
He was so wonderful. I got to go to one of his concerts
What?
a couple years ago and meet him, and he was absolutely amazing. And
Oh
it
my
was like
God.
one of the best days of my life. It was so cool.
Oh,
He's the
that's
best.
I'm a day one fan of Big Sean. That's
Oh yeah,
amazing.
no,
That's
he's so beyond talented. I mean, it's insane. But yeah, I had like the best night ever getting to meet him and going to his concert. And yeah, Rihanna was there. I was sitting next to Rihanna. It was pretty
what?
insane. It was amazing. Yeah.
Did he like shout you out? Like, look, it's the girl who did the song in the movie.
So he definitely knew who I was, and I got to kind of go backstage into like the VIP area and meet him.
Ooh.
And he was like, I mean, I was fangirling over him, but even he was like, oh my God, the scene was so great. It was so funny and so amazing. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening. And yeah, we took
Wow.
some photos together. It was the best night.
Oh my God. That is so incredible. I remember when you first joined Fear, I was like, wait, is that the fist fight girl? Are you kidding me? This
Oh
is
my God.
amazing.
I know. I mean, I said that whole experience, just like from start to finish, was absolutely amazing. And yeah, I just have only like the best memories from it.
Fantastic. So then you do middle school,
Yeah.
which is also fantastic. I'm glad that someone finally put in a movie that middle school does suck. And it actually is the worst years of your life. I mean,
Yeah.
anyone looking back on it, you're like, holy crap. But I think you've been asked this before, but did you go to middle school or were you homeschooled by then?
I actually did 5th and sixth grade
Okay.
in a small kind of charter school. So it was a small school here. But it was real school, yes. And then right after that,
Yeah.
I think I'm a freshman in high school now. So yeah, I
Yeah.
believe it was like seventh grade I started Fear, and
Wow.
then I became homeschooled. But yes, that movie definitely prepped me for
Man.
middle school, because I was only 9, so I was like,
Yeah.
oh, middle school, like I had no clue about anything, like actual middle school. So it definitely prepped me a little bit, I'll say.
Wow. That's incredible. All right. So let's get on to Fear the Walking Dead. For those who don't know, how did you get the job?
So yeah, I got the audition sent to me, and I did an audition, tape from
Mm-hmm.
home. And yeah, I remember I got cast pretty quickly after. And when
Mm.
I joined the show, I was supposed to be on for just like 5 or 6 episodes,
Really?
and just kind of, yeah, like an in and out situation. And after those episodes, I kept hearing back from my agent that they wanted me back for another episode, and it just kind of continued on from there. And then in season 5, I became a series regular.
Wow, that's amazing. Were you
Yeah.
like the hired gun? Were they like, all right, we're gonna hire this kid to kill Nick and then she's gonna bounce? Or
I,
was that not even part of your original storyline?
I honestly, I'm not exactly sure. I didn't know that that's what was going to happen when I joined the show.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, I found out just kind of when I opened the script, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was shocked. I did not see it coming at all. But yeah, I thought I was just going to be out after, like, I think it was supposed to be, yeah, like five, maybe 6 episodes. So I definitely remember reading the script and knowing that some of the fan reaction, that it was going to be what it was. But
Oh man.
I don't think I was, fully prepared for what it actually was. But I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do a couple episodes and then be out. But then it continued, and I'm so grateful, because it's been such an incredible journey, and I'm so grateful to be here and be a series regular. And it's my third season on the show, which is crazy. I feel like the time
Yeah.
has flown by. I can't
Yeah.
even believe it. I started when I was 11, and now I'm
Wow.
14 and a half.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah,
And a half. That's
and a
amazing.
half. I gotta have that half birthday.
You know, I felt bad for you as an actress because hiring someone and then, pretty quickly after they're responsible for killing the main character. And I had heard Frank wanted off the show, or
Yeah,
he had other opportunities that he was pursuing.
yeah,
So, but I was like, oh man, like this actress is really going to get it on social media.
yeah,
Well, I mean, I'm a social media manager, so I've seen the blowback and I've seen
yeah.
people not super happy about it. Are people able to separate Charlie from Alexa?
It's an interesting thing, because I will admit, and I've talked a little bit, more about this recently. It was
Sure.
definitely, it has been, challenging.
Mm.
I At the time I was only 11, so of course when I was signing on to Instagram or Twitter, and I was just seeing, hundreds, possibly thousands of comments just saying, "I hate you, you killed Nick," and I've always said, like, I completely understand where the fans are coming from. It was devastating for me too, and I'm a fan of lots of TV shows, and I understand what it's like when you lose a beloved character that you've invested a lot of time in, and you love that character. So I completely understand, why they were feeling and feel the way they feel. So that part I understood. I think for me, it was definitely challenging when it became personal, and people were threatening, someone found my address and said they were going to come to
No
my house and
way.
kill me. And yeah,
What?
it definitely got really personal for a while. And that was
Guys, it's a
very,
TV show.
yeah, it
Frank's
got
fine.
for Frank is totally fine.
Oh
He's
my
totally,
God.
totally okay. Yeah, it was scary for me and my family. I think I was definitely not expecting it to go to the
Jesus.
level that it was at. And like I said, it was challenging.
Yeah, I
But
bet.
I
Especially at
will
that
say,
age.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I of course want everyone to, love and embrace the character, but throughout this journey, I've come to realize that, you know, it's okay if not everybody fully, embraces the character, and they may not, they may never, and that's okay. But I will say, I've also recently, especially, gotten so many, like, an overwhelming amount of such sweet fan response too. Like a lot of edits people make on social media, which is
Oh
I think
yeah.
so amazing. And so many nice. I mean, I've seen a bunch of tweets saying, "Oh, at first I hated Charlie, but I've really come to, she's really growing on me." And I don't even think people realize like how much that means to me to see comments like that.
Hmm.
So, even last year I went to a fan convention and I almost didn't go because I was so nervous that someone was gonna like come up to me and yell at me or something and say they
Yeah.
hate me, or that no one was gonna show up and want to meet me. But I'm so glad
Oh.
that I did because I got to meet so many sweet, supportive fans that support me and Charlie, and it was just such a positive experience. And for every comment that I see that says "I hate you, you killed Nick," I see a really sweet, supportive comment that embraces the character. So
Hmm.
you know, I get it.
I will say that episode with you and Alicia in the flooded house, is it Close Your Eyes?
Close your eyes. Yes.
Yeah, that that was great. I'm glad they made that episode
Uh,
because it
Me too.
really helped start the forgiveness train
Yeah.
because yeah, it is hard to like, get attached to a character and then a new character comes along and kills them and then you're like, are we supposed to like them? Like,
Yeah.
what
For
does the show
sure.
want us to do? And then with this one, I was like, oh, okay, she's just a kid. It happens. I mean, we're seeing that they're doing a similar thing with Walking Dead World Beyond. But, I think the Charlie forgiveness train is chugging along. And you had an amazing season 5. And the
Thank
most
you.
recent episode, now the mid-season finale of season 6,
Yeah.
was fantastic. I was glad to see your character again.
Thank you
Is
so
it?
much. Yeah, that was a great one. I love that.
It was like a horror movie. It was so
It was
fun.
so much fun. No, it was so cool. I mean, our special effects team, as always, I mean, everybody did an amazing job on those walkers. They were so cool. And like being with them in real life, it was so surreal. And
Yeah.
I absolutely love Zoe. Such a great time filming that. And of course, getting to be with Alicia and Coleman and Lenny. It was great. It was just such a fun episode.
Season 6 has been, it feels a lot different from the previous seasons. And I'm wondering how you stand on that. Like, I know it's obviously anthology, so that, lends
Yeah.
itself to focusing on characters a little longer than usual. It's less ensemble. So that feels different. But just the writing, directing, cinematography, everything feels elevated this season. How do you view season 6 versus the other seasons?
You know, I 100% agree. Season 6 is definitely, we are amazing showrunners, Ian and Andrew and
Mm,
Scott and everybody at AMC. They wanted the season to be really dark and intense. And I mean, I've said this. I really think that we definitely put the fear in Fear the Walking Dead this year. I mean,
you
it was
did.
really scary. I'm constantly on the edge of my seat watching, and yeah, I think everything has a very dark, intense, overall vibe this season. Um, and yes, this is an anthology style this season, so we can really just kind of take the time to really dive deep into each character and story, and really get to explore a lot of different layers and sides. So yeah, I think this season has been so cool. It's so great getting to see all the fan response, and yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I love the season.
Yeah, and the critics are, raving about it. The fans haven't been this excited since the pilot, I don't think.
Wow.
And I know season 5 was a big setup, but a lot of it was Morgan trying to get everyone to be nice to each
Yeah,
other, and it kind of lost the fear part a little bit. But I'm glad it's back. I'm glad that it's like gritty and really crazy, and it feels almost like an HBO
definitely.
show. Like you're like, oh my god, this is
Ooh,
insane.
yeah, for
It's like
sure.
True Blood or something. Like walkers have like antlers like sewn
Oh
into
yeah,
their head, and you're like,
it's
Jesus.
freaky.
It's really freaky.
So much
Um,
fun though.
so much fun. So with the anthology style, like, do you just come on set to just do your episode? Are you ever there when other people are filming? Like, are you in communication trying to find out like what the other episodes are like? Like, what's that process like?
So we all get all the scripts for every episode, whether we're in it or
Hmm.
not. So we always know what's happening. But yeah, I go back and forth from Austin to LA here,
Hmm.
and we'll go there when I'm filming and come back for the episodes I have off. So yeah, and also all of us are really close, so we're always kind of talking and sharing experiences and catching up. Even when we're not filming in the same episode together, we all have
Hmm.
like group chats and stuff where we're always texting. But yeah, we kind of just come in and do our stuff when we're there. But Yeah, sometimes we'll stay around in Austin, even if we're not, working that episode. But yeah, it just kind of depends on everyone's
Gotcha.
schedule.
What's been filming? Because you guys are filming the back half right now, right?
Yes, we are.
So what is it like filming in this, post-COVID world?
It's definitely different and weird, but honestly, it's starting to feel normal,
Mm,
um, which is super freaky. But honestly, AMC and everyone on Fear has done such an incredible job of keeping us so safe. And I feel so incredibly safe to go to work every day. And we're taking so many amazing precautions. And it's kind of like the new normal on set. And I missed it so much. It was, um, what I think from March to a little bit ago. It was a long time that we were
yeah.
here not working. So I miss it so much, and it just feels great to be back and see everyone again, and just be back. And it's where I'm the happiest. So it felt incredible to be back to work and back on set, even in this new weird situation.
Yeah. What would you say the biggest changes?
The biggest change. Oh, obviously we're getting tested regularly, and we're all, of course, always masked up. um yeah, when we're shooting the scene, we remove our masks, but everyone is so incredibly cautious. There's so many like little details and little things that are different. There's like a whole list of precautions, but it honestly, they've done an amazing job of taking the necessary precautions, but not making set feel too weird or different or spooky or scary. Like, it really does just kind of feel like um, our normal life, just with super safe precautions, if that makes sense. There's
Yeah.
nothing that's too different. Obviously, it's super weird and surreal looking around and seeing so many people just distance and wearing masks. It's incredibly different, but I feel so safe and protected there. And it's good to see your fellow cast members after so long, and kind of have that, be able to catch up and just enjoy each other's, company. So that's been nice.
Yeah. Have you seen Coleman's work on Euphoria yet?
Of course. I mean, I
Oh
love
my God.
Euphoria so much. He is just absolutely incredible. Especially the newest episode they just put out. He was
Dude,
mind blowing.
that episode was, yeah, I just threw a clip on like Walking Dead Instagram. I was like, I know this isn't really Walking Dead related, but you guys have to check this out. Like,
It was amazing.
holy
Euphoria is
crap.
one of my absolute like favorite shows ever, and getting to watch it and see Coleman and learn from him is just like it like beyond. I mean, he's just so beyond talented. I don't even have words. That episode was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I know you've said that the two funniest people on set are Coleman and Mo. Have
Yeah.
you, I'm wondering, I know it was before your time, but have you gone back and seen any of her work on Mad TV or Parks and Rec?
You know what? I need to, because my mom
At least
has,
you're honest.
and my mom and so many other people I know have, of course. And I believe when Mo first came onto the show, I did watch a clip from Mad TV, but I need to watch more, because I mean, she is
Oh man.
like a comedic genius, absolutely
Yes.
like insane, her comedy. Like, she just has the most perfect timing, everything. Like, everybody is constantly like always laughing. She always just has like she's amazing.
Oh my
Truly.
gosh. That's
So
fantastic. Did
genius.
you see that Tom Cruise freak out that happened this week or hear about
Um,
it?
you know what? I have heard a little bit about it, just of course, through social media and stuff, but I have not
Yeah.
seen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was just audio someone captured. I guess like some grip or something wasn't wearing a mask and he totally lost his mind on them. And yeah, I was just wondering because it's good to hear that your like environment's really safe. I'm just like, well, I mean, I guess it's,
Oh yeah,
I'm glad he wants everyone to be safe, but
for sure.
geez.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I've obviously heard about it a little bit, just through friends and social media and stuff, but I
Hmm.
have not heard the audio. But yeah, I mean, I am
Oh
so
man.
grateful to Fear and AMC, because I mean, I that's the safest place. I mean, I feel like I am 100% the most safe on set.
Yeah.
We take COVID, especially in our family, very seriously. My dad is a kidney cancer survivor, so we really
Oh
don't,
wow.
go many places, especially here in LA with the numbers. So Of course, at first I was, a little bit nervous, but I mean, that's the place I feel the safest. I never have a worry. It just feels so good to be on set.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm curious, you sound a lot more adult than a lot of 14-year-olds, and I know you
Aw.
probably get compared
Thank
to a
you
lot
so
of,
much.
yeah, in a good way. I'm
Yeah.
curious, like, is that from your parents? Is that from, acting coaches? Is that people telling you, like, do you have, publicists trying to tell you like how to speak to like media and stuff like that? Like, is that
Not at
just
all.
you?
Yeah. I think, one, I definitely think, I'm so grateful for my parents. I mean, we're very close. I love them so much. We
Mhm.
spend a lot of time together. And also I think I've constantly been around adults my whole life, especially being in this industry. A lot of the projects
Yes.
I've done have been with adults and, just kind of learning from them. But I mean, I guess part of it is kind of naturally me, I guess, but
Oh
definitely
yeah.
I'm constantly around adults, so getting to learn from them has been amazing. But thank you so much. That's a
It's
big
that it, it's that only child thing because I was also only around my parents and their adult friends,
for
and
sure.
and so yeah, I can absolutely relate to that. So what are we? I know with anthology and everything, we only get so much from every character. How much Charlie can we expect in the second half, or is there a good chunk that you're like proud of so far?
Um, I can't say too much, but I will say
Yeah.
I just got to film some really exciting stuff that
Ooh.
it was like one of I can't say too much, but
Okay. I know. I
it
know. I
was
know.
it was I'm so sorry. It's always so
No,
hard
it's
because
okay.
like I just want to say everything, but I know I
Yeah.
can't. So it was so exciting. I can't wait. I truly cannot wait to see it. I can't wait for everyone else to see it. But we can definitely expect some fun, exciting stuff from Charlie.
That's awesome.
Look
And
out for that one for sure.
what about Nikki the horse? Are we going to get more of that horse?
Nikki, oh my gosh. I cannot say
Oh,
yes or
okay.
no for sure. But
Okay.
no, I had
No
honestly
horse
like
spoilers here.
that was the coolest thing ever. I absolutely love that horse so much. And I was so nervous before doing it, but it was like I had the best time. I truly did. Like I the second I got on that horse, we had amazing horse trainers, and everyone was just made me feel so like safe and comforted once I got on. And I didn't want it to be over. Like I would have done a million scenes riding that horse. It was so much fun.
Wow. That's great. And, the horse is named Nikki though. Nick, I mean, that's okay.
Nick, people didn't think about that.
I know. I'm so sorry. I ruined the horse for you. Get me a new horse. No. Wow, that's incredible. So what, vaccines are rolling out. Hopefully we'll be back to normal. I don't know, end of next year, 2022 sometime. What's like the one thing you're dying to do that you can't do right now once things
Oh my
do kind of
God.
resume?
So much. I mean, I think obviously I'm looking forward to, being out at a restaurant, seeing my friends, seeing my family. A lot of my family, nobody really else besides, me and my parents live here in California.
Mhm.
So our whole family's kind of spread out all over. So obviously, I can't wait to get just out again and see them. It's been way too long. See my friends, and just I think it's also like the little things that we didn't even think twice about doing before this. That everything is an extra step and an extra challenge. But I can't wait to do everything. I think there's like because we really don't go out and do too much besides work. So yeah, I can't wait to just go into like a supermarket and like not I think it's just more a matter of like not having to think too much about everything you're doing.
Mhm.
I know that sounds weird, but like
No.
it's just everything is kind of scary right now. So I'm kind of ready for things to feel just like regular little day to day life stuff that you don't have to think too much about, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also in LA. I'm in Burbank,
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah. Perfect.
so the lockdown is real, and
Yeah.
my
For
friends
sure.
who live in other states are like, "What's going on over there?" I was like, "Listen,
Oh
we have
yeah.
like 60 times the population of
Yeah.
whatever town you're in, so
Yeah. Exactly.
it's a little crazier over here."
Oh,
But
for sure. I definitely know people that are like think it's so weird that we can't go out and go to restaurants and do things, and we're like, no, like that's that's not LA. That's not our situation, especially with our family. We take it extra seriously and extra cautious. So
Yeah.
I can't wait literally to do everything again.
I'm excited to go to the gym again. I had to buy a weight bench the other day and some weight plates just because I'm like, oh, I guess the gyms aren't ever going to open up
Yeah,
again. So
we put together a little home gym in the house. We kind of turned my dad's office into a little
Oh,
home gym here, which has been amazing. I mean,
yeah.
I've really, it's been quite challenging, to be honest,
Mhm.
this whole experience, but it's also been, I think, an experience for me where I've really gotten to work on myself, and I think I've matured a lot in a lot of
Oh my
different ways
gosh.
since,
Yeah.
starting quarantine and the pandemic. And I've gotten to just, focus a little bit more on some other things, which has been good, but no, it's been a challenge for sure.
Have you been auditioning for other things, or are you just kind of chill where you are now?
I'm pretty chill where I am now. I'm putting a lot of focus into the season and into Fear, and I'm so excited for everyone to see the rest of the season and some of the stuff we just filmed. So yeah, right now just kind of putting all my focus into this.
That's fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Alexa, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was so much fun, and I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
it's always nice to talk to someone new in quarantine. I live with two people and a dog, and that's all who I ever talk to outside of
Me
people on the
too,
phone.
just my
So
mom and
it's
dad and the
nice.
dog. Every now and then
Yeah.
I talk to like some family members and stuff, but and a couple of my friends, but it's nice as well. So thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks again, and talk later. See you later.
Thank you for sure. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye. And that wraps up the final episode of Talk Dead to Me this year. Thank you guys so much for listening throughout the year. Whether you started early, you came in late, you're a new listener today, however you found it, thank you. We're going to be back in January, and I genuinely hope you guys have a safe and happy holiday and New Year. Until then, wear a mask, don't hug an unvaccinated grandma, and happy birthday to Nate.